Tutorial, and in this tutorial we're going to talk about Kotlin programming, okay, idioms. So we're gonna I'm gonna introduce you 14 most frequently used idioms in Kotlin. So let's go get along with it, and without wasting any time, let's go and check the code, and I'm gonna introduce you all these 14 different idioms one by one. So the first thing is, let's learn how to create a data transfer objects. Is called DTOs. Also it's called like pozos. Like pozos means plain object, old Java objects which is used in Java. Similarly, we also have in .NET, we have POCOs, that is plain old CLR objects. So when working with Kotlin, we'll primarily use data classes to represent the data in entities, so which serve similar purpose to POSOs in Java and POCOs in .NET. So data classes in Kotlin automatically generates the equals, hash code, to string and copy methods. So it makes them ideal for representing the data transfer object. So let's create this data transfer object. So data transfer object, so DTOs. So let's learn how to create them. Okay, so to create the data transfer object is pretty simple. You just need a data keyword class user. Okay, so which we define two variables here, the ID, then we have a name, and then we have a email. Okay, and then after we define the data class, we also defined a variable called user, which we try to create the instance of the user. So we create the instance of the user passing the ID, the name, and the email. Email is okay. So then after we print the ID of the user by using the string template, user ID, then we create the user, which is user dot name. Then similarly we also have a email that is user dot email. Okay, so let's go and print out, and voila, so we have a ID that is ID is 1, name is Ninja, and the email is this is the value of the email. Okay, so that's it. This is how to create the data transfer object in Kotlin. Okay, so the second idioms in Kotlin is like we learn how to assign the default value for a function parameter. So you can assign default values to function parameters, allowing for more flexible function calls. So how do we assign the default values for the function parameters? So in our so let's remove this code, and let's try to write a code to demonstrate you how to we default use how do you pass how do you assign the default values to function parameters. So let's create a function called greet, passing the name of type string, and this is the default value. Okay, so let's pass let's call the println function to print the text, right? And then we call this greet function. Okay, so greet function, we call it twice. One is with the default parameter, and one is with the custom parameter, that the parameter we pass, and this is the value. So if you see, this is the default. Okay, so you see the difference. I'm calling the function twice. One is with the default, and one is with the assigned value, like the parameter. So it's printing hello guest and hello Alice twice. Okay, so this is how we assign default values to the function parameter. This Using this, we allow it for more flexible function calls. Okay, so this is the second idiom. So now let's learn how to filter the list. So how can we filter the list? So the filter function consists of a new list containing only elements that satisfy a given predicate. So let's give an example of how to filter our list. We have a list of numbers 1 2 3 4 5 6 numbers 5 and 6. Okay, then we have a then we from this number we just filter the even numbers. So we filter number dot filter. So let's make it numbers. So numbers filter the only the even number. So it should be divided by 2, right? So the modulus of 2 should be 0. Then we print out the even numbers. So here we are just even numbers. So here we are just printing filtering the even numbers from this number list. Okay, so let's run and check out. Yeah, you see this is just the even number. 2 4 6 are the even numbers. So this is how we filter the list. So let's learn how to check the presence of element in the collection. So let's define fruit list. Okay, so list of fruits like apple, banana, and we also have orange. So fruits contains if the fruits contains the, so here what we're gonna do is we're gonna check the presence of the particular element. So if the fruit contains a banana, then it's gonna return true, right? So you see true. If it doesn't contain kiwi, then it's gonna return false. You see, this is how we check the presence of the element in the collection. This is the collection. Okay, so how do we do the string interpolation? So string interpolation is something like also like string template, as we have already learned before. But okay, so let me give the example. So let's define a name, declare a name variable of default value Alice, and we have a message to hello name. So this is like a string interpolation. So or string template, you can call whichever name you want. So let's print out the message. So it will be printed out with hello Alice, as you can see here. So this is string interpolation. So now let's check also about another important Kotlin idioms, that is if expression. So let's define a variable which is of a 1, b is 2, then the maximum of so let's check which of them is maximum. Okay, a is greater than b, is a is the maximum, else b is the maximum, right? So print the result is the maximum. Okay, so let's see. So which is greater? B is the maximum, right? So B is the maximum here. 20, here is 100. So which is the maximum? 100 is the maximum, right, among A and B. So this is how we do the check the if expression. Okay, so let's also define another string interpolation example, that is called execute if not null. So we use run to execute a block of a code only if a nullable value is not null. So you can give I will give a simple example of how to use a run block. Okay, so let's define a string a variable of type string which is nullable, but for now it's not null. So name, if it is not null, then you run this block and print the not nullable value. Name is not null and the name is this. Okay, so what is gonna print, it is gonna check if the name is not null, then it's gonna run this block and it's gonna print, right? So its name is not null and this is Alice. But what if I pass a null value, what's gonna happen? Nothing is gonna happen. Nothing, it's not gonna print anything, right? Because this is not executed, because the run block is not executed because name is null. Okay, run executed. You see, run block is not executed with this Elvis operator. Okay, so this is it. Then let's learn about map. Okay, so let's define a how do we perform an operation on a nullable value only if it's not null. Okay, so if not null, how do you map how do you perform how do you use the let operator to perform an operation on a nullable value only if it is not null? So it's the same value. Then what we're gonna do is we're gonna use the uppercase name. If the name is not null, then only you can just convert it to uppercase, right? Okay, let's define a not null name, then print is uppercase. Okay, so only if name is not null, then it's gonna convert to the upper case name. Sorry, yeah, is Alice is transformed to uppercase. Okay, but what if it is null? Then the uppercase is not being like performed, right? Because it's null. Okay, you see, it's null. So we can also use this let operator to perform an operation only on a non-nullable value. Okay, only if it is not null. So now let's execute a statement if it's null. So how do we execute the statement if it is null? So if it is null, then you can also check, or you can either you can do the this Elvis operator, or you can check if the name is null, then you can execute the operation like print ln this is null. Okay, so if name is null, then you just can print this is null. Okay, so this is how we can execute a statement if it is null. So we can also check if not null. You can also write in shorthand. You can create if a name is not null, then upper case. It's gonna be null because the name is null. If it is then is. If not null, then you just use this shorthand of if not null, then execute this uppercase, right? So it's pretty easy, this idioms. Then you can also create a function called greet, which takes a name of type string and for the default value is null. And greetings, hello, name. If name is not is null, then you print the name, otherwise you print the default value, right? It's called guest. So this is also another shorthand. Print ln greetings. So what we can do, we call the greet function. Okay, so what's gonna print? Obviously it's gonna print hello, the guest, because you know the name is null here. Okay, so this is also how we can use if not null else. So this is if not null, then else you have a default value here. Okay, so that's it. Then we can also define more other values, right? Like try catch expression. So we can define a function called read file file path string, which is a nullable type string. So what it does, it returns try. It tries to write it tries to first read the file. In the file path it reads the text, but first that we have to also import java.io.file. okay, so this is important. And then after it reads it, if there is an error, then you catch the exception. If there is an exception like file not found exception, if there is a file not found exception, then it's gonna catch the file not found exception. So we also need to import the java io file not found exception. Okay, so then when we catch this exception, what we're gonna do, we gonna have to just handle this. Okay, file not found. Okay, we're gonna just avert the user that file not found in this file path. Okay, then we're gonna just return null, because as you can see this is of null return type. Catch exception. If we have a io exception, we also need to have to import this exception .io exception. Then if we catch this io exception, we can also just tell the user that file is there is a reading error with the file. Okay, and this is the file path, and we're gonna also return null. Okay, so this is it. This is a simple try catch exception. So let's read the file documents. This is the path of the file, and the file txt file. Okay, extension of the file. So if you try to run this accepting exception. Okay, so let me see what's the problem here. Okay, yes, there is a problem here. Okay, let's run the code again. If you see exception in the thread, okay, access control exception due to the security reason. Okay, you cannot access this file permission. Okay, so it's like file permission exception. So this is we can also write import if we catch this reading error, file reading, permission error. Okay, see, file permission, Java IO file permission. So this is the type mismatch. Actual type is Java, but anyhow, this is how we try to handle the this is a string, simple example of a try catch exception. Okay, so you can pretty much find just see the pattern here. Okay, so now let's learn about how do we return on a when statement. So let's define a function which is get day of week. So we pass a day number of type int, which returns a type string. So return when the day number is 1, when you have a Sunday. So when it's 2, Monday, it's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 6, Friday, Saturday, else it's a invalid day number. Okay, so so let's use this function. We define a day of week, get a day of week 3, print ln, then day of week, let's see what's gonna run. Tuesday, as you can see here. So if we put 1, it's gonna give you Sunday, right? 2, it's gonna give you Monday. Yeah, and if you give 22, it's gonna give you invalid day number. As you can see, this is how we can use this return on the when statement, as you can see here. So using this code, we have a concise code, and it also helps us to read the code. It improves the readability and also the flexibility. So it's pretty, this code is pretty flexible. Okay, and so let's finally learn about how do we get the first item of a possibly empty collection. So we define a number collection, then first number first or null, print out the first number. Yeah, first number is 1, obviously. So we have a empty list. These are empty list. So let's see the difference. Okay, so we now define the empty list of integer. Then if first number empty is a empty list, first or null, then what's gonna what it's gonna print out? Obviously it's gonna print out first or first number empty. Okay, so it's gonna print out, first it's gonna print out the first number, that is for the non-empty list it's gonna print out 1 because it's the first item of this list, of this collection. So for in the empty list it's empty, so it's gonna print out, check if first is first number exists. If it is null, then it's gonna return null. Okay, so this is how it's happening. So we get the first item of a when it's not empty, then we're gonna return the first item. Otherwise, if it is empty, then it's gonna return null. So this is the first or null expression. Okay, so that's it, guys. So this is all about the 14 most frequently used idioms in Kotlin. So hope this is gonna help you guys in your coding experience, and catch you up later in the next tutorial. Thank you.